Okay, this is the introductory shiur for Kiddush on Yom Tov, and whether Kiddush on Yom Tov, we're going to be looking at whether or not it is deraisa or it's derabanon. Okay, so let's jump right into the sources here. The Rambam starts off in source number 1, and he says as follows: "K'shem shemakatcher b'leil Shabbos," just like we make Kiddush on Leil Shabbos, Mavdilim b'Motzei Shabbos, and we're making Havdalah on Motzei Shabbos. Kach makatcher b'leil Yom Tovim u'Mavdilim b'Motzeihen. Right? So too, we are mavdil. We do Kiddush and Havdalah on Leil Yom Tov and on Motzi Yom Tov and on Yotzi Yom Kippur, because all of them have an aspect of Shabbos to them. They're all Shabbatot. They're all Shabbat. They're all like an aspect of Shabbos. And when Yom Tov ends and Chol Moed begins, so we make Havdalah then also. Motzi Shabbos Yom Tov, and also when Motzi Shabbos happens and Yom Tov starts, like it will in a couple of days, same thing. But when Motzi Yom Tov happens on a Friday and goes into Shabbos, we do not make Havdalah then. Okay, so the point to take away from this source is just like we make Kiddush on Shabbos, so too we make Kiddush on Yom Tov. The Rambam says as follows: Nusach HaKiddush Yom Tov. So what's the nusach? What's the text of the Kiddush? So he has it here, and the idea here is that the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the focus is that Kadosh Baruch Hu chose us. He was mekadesh the Jewish people, and he chose us. That's the idea of Kiddush. Bachar Banu, V'yagdalnu. That's not in our text, but Vatzar Banu, V'yifarnu. Right. So the whole idea of Kiddush. The text of Kiddush on Yom Tov is that Hashem chose us. On Shabbos, it's like us. On Shabbos, it's about Ma'aseh Bereshis and Yitzias Mitzrayim. Okay. Here too, we say Zeches Yitzias Mitzrayim, but that's okay. Then the Rambam says as follows. This is the Rambam in Hilchos Shabbos. The Rambam says the following. He says, "B'leil Yom Tov Mekadesh al Hayayin." Okay, so just like on he doesn't say just like, so let's stick to the text of the Rambam. On Leil Yom Tov, we're mekadesh on yain, kiddush b'Shabbos, just like on Shabbos. V'im ein lo yain, if he doesn't have wine, oshayim es avol pas mekadesh pas, you can make kiddush on bread. Okay, different story, different sugya. V'chein b'Yom Tov mekadesh kiddush rabba kederach shemekadesh b'Shabbos. So just like on Friday night or Leil Shabbos we make kiddush, so too on Leil Yom Tov we also make kiddush. Same idea. And just like on Shabbat morning we make Kiddush, we also make Kiddush on Yom Tov morning. Same idea. Okay. The Maggid Mishnah here in source number 4 says, he says, V'dash ein Kiddush Yom Tov dvar Torah. He says that Kiddush on Yom Tov, unlike on Shabbos, on Leil Shabbos where it's midoraisa, Kiddush on Yom Tov is derabanon. So our first question that we have in this topic is, why would Kiddush on Yom Tov be midarabanan, while on Shabbos it's midoraisa? Okay, the Pri Megadim here says Mashma Moman Damar Havdalta Shabbos Din Torah, right? So he says that it's a deraisa, right? So Din Torah Din Havdalta Yom Tov V'chol Shekain Kiddush Yom Tov Din Torah. So Kiddush and Havdalah on Yom Tov, just like on Shabbos, is deraisa. Lo Kamo Shekasef Magid Avram. Okay, V'Shem Magid Mishnah. Not like the Maggid Mishnah says here that it's midarabanan. So now we have a machlokes, and we have to ask our questions. What's the svraha of the Pri Megadim to say that Kiddush on Yom Tov is midoraisa? Okay. The Smag, this is the Sefer HaMitzvos HaGadol, he says, Hamodos kulam nikru Shabbosos Hashem. All the moados are called Shabbos Hashem, right? That we saw that earlier. V'tzarach lezichron b'tefila v'al kos kamo b'Shabbos. And he says that you have to mention them. Okay, on that to be mentioned in Tefillah and Alakos and during Kiddush. Okay, that's his svara. Okay, great. Okay, the Shita Mekubetza says as follows: Perish Rabbeinu Tam. Okay, so it says that Rabbeinu Tam Maseches Brachos the Chiyuv Havdalah midoraisa. The Chiyuv of Havdalah is midoraisa. Bein Kiddush l'chol v'kevan shekain shaperika lebruchei safek. The Chol Brachos Shel Torah, Musafek Yachol Avarachas Chol Shita Mekubetza wrote the Havdalah on Yom Tov is deraisa. right? And then if Havdalah is deraisa, which is usually seen as an extension of the mitzvah of Kiddush, so then for sure Kiddush would be midaraisa. Okay. Now we have this very long Aruch HaShulchan. So the Aruch HaShulchan is going to make, he makes a couple of points here. He quotes the Bahag. V'zel shono ha-Bahag. Mechuyavim l'katche liyoma deshabasa liyoma itava be'tzlusa ve'al kasa dechamra. Right, we have to make Kiddush on Yom Tov, right, on Shabbos and on Yom Tov in our prayers and on a cup of essentially wine. Kasa dechamra is wine. Dechsiv zachar yom Shabbos l'kadsho zachar lo hayayin b'chnisasa. So that's why you see the Kiddush on Shabbos days min Torah, mainly Ella Shabbos, right? That's I know now Shabbos. Chag HaMatzos minayin. How do I know on Pesach also Kiddush is midaraisa? Tam lomar l'man tizkor yom seischem eretz Mitzrayim, right? Because it says l'man tizkor seischem eretz Mitzrayim. Okay, so that's on. So on Shabbos we know the pasuk says Zachar yom Shabbos l'kadsho. It says to mention. It says Zachar. On Pesach, we know it from the pasuk "L'man tizkor et yom seischem eretz Mitzrayim." Same thing. It says Zachar. Okay. Then he says on Shavuos, Chag HaShavuos minayin tam lomar zacharta ki deraisa be'eretz Mitzrayim. Okay. So it says zacharta also. On Sukkos, where do we have it from? Chag Sukkos minayin tam lomar zacharta also says zacharta. Okay. So right. So the Aruch HaShulchan, right. So that's he quotes the Bahag. Okay. And he says, sorry, I lost my place. The midkar Kiddush. So even though you mention it on during Kiddush, you still have to mention it in your tefillos. Okay, you have to mention the chagim in your tefillos. Excuse me, and during berachas hamazon. My timer, zachar v'zacharta kiyeved, right? Shrink, right? Chsivei v'asu moados yafina mishabbos. So we learn right from it says zacharta, and we learn the lachos of Yom Tov from the lachos of Shabbos. Ma Shabbos with tefillah v'al. So just like on Shabbos and tefillah, we say Kiddush on, right? We say it on tefillah and on kos. Af Yom Tov. So it's when Yom Tov with tefillah on kos. Akal Shana. That's the Bahag. Look at Chashiv Rosh Hashanah. Dein sarach drasha b'hadra akrai zikaron trua. Right? You don't need a special drasha on Rosh Hashanah because it says zikaron trua. Okay. Kevan da drasha hu milashon zikaron pshita de Rosh Hashanah dami. So Rosh Hashanah, it's clear because Rosh Hashanah is called Yom Zikaron. So that's obviously you have to make Kiddush on Rosh Hashanah. You don't need a special, you don't need anything special to teach us this. Okay, and he says it's clear here that this is midarabanan or mikan samchu because it says samchu. Now they relied on, they learned from. So it's clear that from the word, the lashon of the Bahag, the language that the Bahag uses, the Aruch HaShulchan says it's clear the Bahag felt that this was all midarabanan. Okay. Okay, so so he says, sorry, I keep losing my place. So the Kiddush he says also they compared, and then for Kiddush is for sure derabanon, Kamashakasav, a Magid Mishnah. Okay, so he quotes the Magid Mishnah. He says just like the Magid Mishnah says that this is derabanon. The Kiddush Hayom have a gam kein derabanon. Rakim den kavod Hayom. V'chein lo tiknu b'dvarim dikar Kiddush hu b'layla. Okay, so the real part of Kiddush is at night, and now we know already. Okay, great. So now let's look at, this is Rav Yosef Kafach, who was a commentator on the Rambam. He says, Big Temani Rav, he says, Nira Barar, do Das Rabbeinu, Shechovas HaKiddush, Ben B'Shabbos, Ben B'Yom Midoraisa. He says it's clear and that the Rambam holds, okay, that the obligation of Kiddush and Shabbos and Yom Tov is Midoraisa, completely disagreeing with the Magid Mishnah, okay? And now you have, okay, this is going to be hard for us to read. Let's just do it outside. Kafach wrote that the word Zachar, okay, like remember we saw the Bahag focuses Zachar, applies equally to Shabbos and Yom Tov, okay? The Rambam wrote that both days are considered Shabbos Lashem, okay? So Rav Kafach explained that there's two types of Shabbos to Hashem for Kiddush, okay? The first is Shabbos Bereshis, okay? That is the Shabbos of Bereshis, of creation. That's the Shabbos of the 7 days, okay? The second type of, and that doesn't apply to Yom Tov, okay? The second type of Kiddush is the one for Yom Tov, and that is the Shabbos of remembering Yetzias Mitzrayim, and that does apply to Yom Tov. That's Rav Kafach's theory, but holding that the Rambam definitely says that that Kiddush on Yom Tov is deraisa, disagreeing with the Magid Mishnah, okay? Here are our last two sources. The Amar Rav Acha Bar Yaakov. Okay, but Sarach Shizkar Yetzias Mitzrayim be Kiddush Hayom. You have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim during Kiddush. as yom, right? Because it says zachar by both. Okay, the Rashbam explains here, whether it's on a kos or in tefillah, shel Shabbos, b'gzeira shava, the Pesach, b'shar moadim, ma matzino b'Pesach, right? So in all the other chagim, we can see it. We learn it just from Pesach. Just like on Pesach, you have to have it. So too, you have to mention it on all the other Yom Tovim. Okay, short introductory shiur. Amir Hashem, we will have shiur on Sunday. Okay, all the best.